Rasputin. No, not the catchy Boney M song, but the man himself, Grigori Rasputin, the Siberian mystic who probably had more lives than your average cat. This guy wasn't just a bearded wanderer with a penchant for the spiritual. He was the man who wormed his way into the heart of the Russian royal court. And no, not just because he had a charming smile. But who was he, really? Beyond the myths, the legends, and the bevy of controversies, there lies a story of a man who, for better or for worse, left an indelible mark on history. Rasputin, the Siberian enigma who made a name for himself in the most unexpected of ways. Born in the backwaters of Pokrovskoye, a place where the most thrilling event was probably the annual snowfall count, young Grigori had ambitions that stretched far beyond the icy plains of his hometown. From an early age, while other kids were busy trying to avoid frostbite, Rasputin was diving deep into the spiritual realm. Maybe it was the isolation, or perhaps the lad genuinely had a direct line to the heavens. Either way, he wasn't content being just another face in the crowd. Feeling the itch for something more, our ambitious mystic embarked on religious pilgrimages. It wasn't just an excuse to escape the monotony of village life. He was on a mission to network, Siberian style. By the time he sauntered back into Pokrovskoye, he wasn't just Grigori anymore. He was Rasputin, the self-styled man of God. And in a place starved for entertainment, his tales of spiritual escapades were the hottest gossip around. But as with any good story, there were skeptics. To some, he was a beacon of hope and spirituality. To others, he was just a savvy con artist with a flair for theatrics. Regardless of which camp you fell into, one thing was clear: Rasputin's reputation was growing, and it wasn't long before it reached the gilded halls of the Russian royal court. And trust me, that's when things really started to get interesting. From the frosty plains of Siberia to the opulent chambers of the Russian royal court, Rasputin's journey was nothing short of meteoric. But let's be real, it wasn't his dashing good looks or impeccable fashion sense that got him through those gilded doors. No, it was a mix of mystique, alleged divine powers, and being at the right place at the right time. Enter the Romanovs, Russia's royal family, who were, by all accounts, having a bit of a rough patch. Their son, Tsarevich Alexei, was a hemophiliac. For those not up on their medical jargon, that means even a minor injury could be fatal. And the best doctors in all of Russia? Well, let's just say they could heal as well as Stevie Wonder could see. Now, imagine the scene. The royal family, desperate and on edge, hears whispers of a Siberian mystic with healing powers. It's the kind of rumor you'd dismiss after one too many vodkas. But in a twist straight out of a soap opera, Rasputin was invited to the palace, and lo and behold, after one of his healing sessions, Alexei's condition improved. Coincidence? Divine intervention? A placebo effect? Who knows? But for the Romanovs, Rasputin was the real deal. With one foot in the door, Rasputin didn't just stop at being the royal healer. Oh no, he was eyeing the whole palace. His influence over Tsar Nicholas II and Tsarina Alexandra grew faster than mold on a week-old bread. From state affairs to personal matters, Rasputin had an opinion on everything, and the Tsar and the Tsarina, they lapped it up. Of course, not everyone was thrilled with Rasputin's growing influence. Critics were as plentiful as snowflakes in the Russian winter. Accusations flew left, right, and center. Some said he was a German spy, others whispered about scandalous affairs. But the Romanovs, they stood by their man. In their eyes, Rasputin could do no wrong. It's almost touching, in a blind faith meets power dynamics kind of way. But as history has shown us time and again, when you climb too high, too fast, the fall can be, well, let's just say it's not pretty. Rasputin, the holy man of Russia, lived a life that would make even the most scandalous tabloid headlines seem tame. parties that would rival modern-day raves, a list of female admirers that seemed never-ending, and an alcohol tolerance that could put Alcoholics Anonymous to shame. It's as if he saw the rulebook and decided it was more fun to burn it. Heresy? Oh, he had that in spades. Debauchery? That was just a Tuesday for Rasputin. His spiritual teachings often strayed so far from orthodoxy that many wondered if he was crafting his own religion. But when you've the Tsarinas holding the inside of your pocket, who's really going to challenge you? But Rasputin wasn't just about spiritual misadventures. He had a taste for politics too. And not in a let's vote and make a change kind of way. More like, I whisper in the Tsarina's ear and she does my bidding manner. It's amazing how much influence one can wield when they're the royal family's unofficial therapist. The Russian elite. They loathed him. Nobles, politicians, clergy. It was like a who's who of Rasputin haters. His unchecked power, coupled with his penchant for scandal, made him public enemy number one. And in a Russia teetering on the edge, that's a dangerous title to hold. Rasputin's tale isn't just about a man who lived on the edge. It's a reflection of a nation in turmoil. A stark reminder that unchecked power, mixed with personal vices, can lead to a nation's downfall. And playing with fire, as Rasputin so often did, is bound to get you burned. And for our dear holy man, the flames were closing in. The Russian elite, tired of his antics and unchecked influence, decided it was time for Rasputin to exit the stage. But as with everything in his life, his exit was anything but ordinary. Prince Felix Yusupov, Grand Duke Dmitry Pavlovich, and right-wing politician Vladimir Purishkevich were the headliners of this plot. Their motive? Saving Russia, or so they claimed. But let's be real, Russian leaders just tend to make decisions and think about them after. The night of Rasputin's assassination reads like a dark comedy. First, they tried poison, a lot of it, enough to take down a small army. But Rasputin? He just asked for another glass of wine. When that didn't work, they resorted to shooting him. Not once, but multiple times, and yet invincible, even attempting an escape. It took a final shot, drowning and hypothermia to ensure he wouldn't pop up again. Talk about resilience, or maybe just really bad assassins. His death sent shockwaves through Russia. The Romanovs, already on shaky ground, found themselves even more isolated. Rasputin's death was seen by many as the last nail in the Romanov dynasty's coffin. Now, myths about his death are as abundant as his scandals. Some say he was still alive when thrown into the icy river. Others claim he survived all the assassination attempts only to succumb to the cold. But here's the kicker. Autopsy reports suggest he died from a gunshot wound, not drowning. So much for the legend of the indestructible monk. Grigori Rasputin, Siberian mystic, royal whisperer, party enthusiast, and the man who just wouldn't die until he did. His life was a roller coaster of rumors, scandals, and some seriously questionable decisions. But hey, who are we to judge? In the end, whether you see him as a villain, a victim, or just a guy who really knew how to work the system, one thing's for sure. Rasputin knew how to leave an impression. And in the grand theatre of history, isn't that what really counts? Cheers to the mad monk who became a legend.